Thanks for choosing Bob's Transformers Reviews. Watching these videos is the duty of all sentient beings. Autobots, transform and smell your dad.
Smell your dad. Smell your dad. Smell your dad. Smell your dad. Huh. Smell your dad, mate. So, what is the coolest thing ever? If you'd asked 6-year-old me, without hesitation, I would have answered Powermaster Optimus Prime. As a grubby, disgusting, socially awkward, autistic child, Optimus Prime was my idol. I was obsessed with Transformers, but Optimus even more so. He was strong enough to be gentle, and his unshakable moral compass and unconditional love and respect for all life moulded my soft, squishy child brain. To say I was excited when my dad got his tickets to Transformers the movie would be a vast understatement. I couldn't wait to see my hero on the silver screen, saving the day as he always did. We all know what happened next. Optimus died, didn't he? Part of the great toy culling of '86. Hasbro had new toys to hawk, so there was no room for smelly old Optimus anymore. Surely this was the end of the road for our red and blue freedom-loving hero. After all, Rodimus Prime was here to lead the franchise into the next season of the cartoon. Kids will love him just as much as Optimus, right? Wrong. Optimus just would not die. He resonated with the kids of the 80s in a way Rodimus never could. The writing was on the wall. Optimus needed to return. And that he did in 1988 with a brand new toy that brought kids not just one Optimus, but kind of two. Optimus could now combine with his trailer to form a super mode. A hulking, gaudy brick of a thing with proportions similar to WCW's The Yeti. This was Powermaster Optimus Prime. To child me, this was a divine object. Robot Jesus had his second coming, and it was beyond glorious. Despite what the cover of the Return of the Optimus Prime VHS would suggest, Powermaster Prime didn't appear in the G1 cartoon. To see Powermaster Optimus Prime in action, we need to turn to the Marvel comic. Like the cartoon continuity, Optimus was also dead in the comic, but instead of having a badass heroic death and a fight to the finish with his nemesis, Optimus decided to blow himself up because he'd cheated to beat Megatron in a game of Mario Kart or something. We all knew he was coming back though, as his mind was saved in a floppy disk, probably along with the classic but terrifying Granny's Garden for the BBC Micro. Optimus was resurrected thanks to the help of a wee baldy fella with fantastic fashion sense called Q. In order to process the corrupted power supply of the planet Nebulon, Optimus and Q had to non-binary bond. Power Bottom Optimus went on to star in some of the very best comic storylines, like Time Wars, where Galvatron became a spooky skeleton, and went on to almost the end of the comics run, before dying yet again while saving Cybertron from Unicron. Jesus, look at the state of him. This was my childhood trauma equivalent of watching that Cartel Funky Town video. So, you'll be wanting to add a Power Master Optimus to your collection, eh? I'd say you've got two options. Firstly is this fella. This is, take a deep breath, Optimus Magnus from the Siege on Cybertron multi-pack, who is a slight repaint of Takara Legends LG35 Super Jinrai, who himself was a remold and repaint of Power Master Optimus Prime from Titan's Return. For the sake of brevity, I'm just going to refer to him as Greg. Anyway, would you just look at this boy? Greg is absolutely stunning. This is exactly what I'd want a modern Power Master Prime to look like. He's proportioned like Animal from the Legion of Doom, with these jacked shoulder pads and tree trunk limbs. His truck cab chest tummy even looks like a cute wee roid belly. Oh, Greg is pretty much the spitting image of Powermaster Prime from the Marvel Comics. He even scales well with his foes from that continuity, like Galvatron. Not Thunderwing, though. When are we going to get a proper Thunderwing and not as Mini-Me Hasbro? Anyways, this is just the perfect super mode for Optimus. It retains all his classic features, but just amps everything up. You remember Optimus's smokestacks? Well, he's got two on each side now. You remember the classic Ion Blaster? Well, he's got two of them now as well. You remember how Optimus had a head? He's got two of them now as well. There's been some changes to the original Powermaster Prime. This fella is weirdly a headmaster, which is kind of fun if you ever wanted to see Carnivac with Prime's head for some inexplicable reason. Less fun though is the fact that the truck cab doesn't transform into a smaller Optimus. Boo! That's Powermaster Prime's biggest gimmick. Unfortunately, the truck cab is as empty and hollow as J.K. Rowling's cold, dead, black mould-infested heart. You can very much tell that this is an older figure from how light and hollow Prime is. Even though they're pretty much the same size, Pseudo Series 86 Ultra Magnus this ain't. In hand, Magnus feels so substantial and dense, whilst Greg feels like he's made of tissue paper and the concept of hope. The worst part, however, is his feet. Jesus, what the hell happened here? How can you fuck up feet so badly? I've not seen feet as bad as this since my poor old granda passed away. Look at this weird setup. Why does his heel, which supports all his weight, fold in the way? Prime is less stable on his feet than this mad old drunk fella. This really is a blight on this figure. Greg struggles to hold anything more than basic poses. It's a real shame. Luckily, Greg looks awesome just standing. It's impossible to hate you, you gorgeous bastard. Plus he can do a go-go gadget punch, which makes up for a lot. Transformation here is pretty much a good time. I say pretty much due to these bloody arm flaps. Getting these pegged in without them collapsing and exploding off can be a bit of a pain in the rectum. Just go slowly, and I'm sure even you'll be able to manage it. Would you just look at this op mode? It's super cute. With these proportions and big old wheels, this almost looks a bit chibified in comparison to the original. The truck and trailer are delightfully compact. The cab looks so much better than the American Titans Return release of this, mostly because it's closer to the G1 version, and I'm a big a slut for G1 as your mum is for Alan Titchmarsh and Speedos. The deco and decals are also noticeably better than the Titans Return one, but that version does have normal feet instead of these unusable bloody hooves. Swings and roundabouts, eh? Prime also has an additional base mode. Moving on. Just kidding. It is pretty shit though. This looks like you've just given up halfway through transforming him. It does look half decent when you add the wee headmaster and some Doctor Wu fellows. If you're buying Greg to display him on this mode though, you're as mad as a chimp, dressed as a doctor, fingering its own arse. I do find it quite weird that the Optimus released in the subsequent toy line, Power of the Primes, shared more gimmicks with the original Powermaster Prime than Greg does. A smaller robot that turns into a truck cab? Check. The smaller robot combines with the trailer to make a super mode? Check. This is a smashing big Optimus. He's well articulated, chunky, and can stand far better than Greg. He's even got a matrix of leadership. Why didn't Hasbro just wait and do the Powermaster Prime with this mold? It would have made more sense than making Prime a headmaster. What's the alt mode like? Oh no, that's humming. Get this thing out of my sight. So Greg certainly looks the part, but he really falls short in articulation, stability, and by being a fucking headmaster. Is there a better option out there? Perhaps there is. This is a knockoff of the MPG-09 masterpiece, and he's some fella indeed. The box calls him Super Deformed Commander, which makes me think of Donald Trump being infected by the thing. Super Deformed Commander doesn't really roll off the tongue though, eh? Let's call this fella Philip. Unlike Greg, Philip does come with an inner Optimus. This fella is almost worth the asking price. He scales well with the main line, being just a tad shorter than Studio Series 86 Optimus, and he's hyper articulated. With the exception of individual fingers, this Prime has it all, including not only an ab crunch, but an ab tilt. Little Philip can hula hoop. Most pleasingly, little Philip can look up without requiring a bloody upgrade kit. You hear that, Studio Series 86 Prime? Aesthetically, little Philip comes off as being slightly less buff than the usual Prime, with these skinny forearms and legs. But I dig it. Unlike Studio Series 86 Prime, who looks like he could rip Devastator's dick clean off at the root, little Philip looks like he's in need of a super mode to take on his stronger opponents. Despite his comparatively feeble frame, little Philip certainly is a looker. His head sculpt is beautiful, with these big soulful blue eyes, and his tip windows are done in a lovely transparent plastic. All 4 of them. Wait, 4 of them? Just like the G1 toy, Prime has a full truck cab in his back. I mean, it's accurate to the original, so I can't really complain. Plus, Prime can do the backwards man if you'd prefer him with a dad bod. Transformation into truck mode is mostly simple, apart from getting the arms under these flaps. It's a bit fiddly and definitely caused some swearing on the first couple of attempts. Absolutely fuck these wee tabs on his arms. When you're done, truck mode is basically your standard Optimus. Red cab, blue flatbed, simple. The cab is perhaps a little less broad and a bit longer than usual, but it's solid Optimus stuff. It's nowhere near as good as Studio Series 86 Prime, but considering that's my favourite Op mod ever, there's no shame in that. The truck cab does look good when you bring the trailer in to complete the look. Holy shit, this is a long boy. The trailer is more like a battle platform with these huge cannons on the tops and sides. The whole robots in disguise thing had pretty much gone out the window by the time Powermaster Prime came along. I really don't think you can mistake this thing for a lorry delivering cheese to bloody M&S. Unfortunately, the trailer can't store anything in the back, even though there are working ramps. You could maybe stash a few grams of your favourite powdered drugs, but that's about it. Whilst the little Optimus and the truck mode are all very good, it's the super mode that really matters, isn't it? Have a look at this fella. He's freakishly huge. I suppose this is accurate. Optimus Plus's trailer would be this tall. The only problem is that he dwarfs everyone else but combiners. Aesthetically, Big Philip more closely resembles the G1 toy than Powermaster Prime's look in the comics. His proportions are a bit weird, with these spindly arms and massive knee-high boots with comically tall feet. I guess it is accurate to the G1 toy, but is that a good thing? If accuracy to the G1 toys was the most important thing, Prime would still be storing his fists in his tit cupboard. Although I'm not entirely sold on Big Philip's look, he makes up for it with fantastic articulation. For a big boy, this fella can move. All the joints you could want are here. Despite his stupid looking feet, there's actually ankle rockers behind this panel to ensure Big Philip has a solid base. The shoulders are like 86 Primes and can detach from the body for maximum range. There's even an ab crunch, for God's sake. I think this version looks better than the official one, mainly due to the awful looking Autobot badges on the official release. I just added these myself, but they look so much better than the plain black outline. It makes Big Philip more accurate to the G1 toy as well. Big Philip comes with a metric fuck ton of accessories, including different heads and blast effects. I'm not too bothered with anything apart from these big old blasters, which he really can't grip amazingly well, his shoulder cannons, and of course, wee high Q. The little fella is done well. He's got nice shiny silver and crisp sculpted detail on his engine backpack, along with nice proportions and a cute wee head sculpt. He's not that well articulated, but for a fella who'll spend the vast majority of his life twisted up like a pretzel and jammed into Prime's belly button, he's alright. It's quite the package you get with Big Philip. I still don't think he's worth the exorbitant price of the official version, but the 100 banger I paid for this KO is about right. Oh, there's also a base mode. Moving on. Just kidding again. This is about on par with Greg's base mode. It's definitely more accurate to the G1 toy, but it's still very much an afterthought. At least this time there's a additional panel you fold down to reveal the front of the base. It's nicely detailed, I guess, and it gives a wee diorama for Haikyuu to interact with. Let's be honest though, you'll use this mode a maximum of once. So what Powermaster Optimus Prime should you get? Both these fellas are solid options. If you're just looking for a handsome bot who scales well with the rest of the main line, Greg will do you just fine. If you're more interested in a modern version of the G1 toy, with all the bells and whistles and great articulation, then Big Philip is for you. I don't know if either of these fellas are the definitive Powermaster Prime though. I'd love to see one done in the mainline at the Commander price point, equivalent to Studio Series 86 Magnus, sitting somewhere between Greg and Big Philip. He'd be more solid and articulated than Greg, but less fiddly and better scaled than Big Philip. Is that too much to ask for? Do we even need any more Optimus Primes? Have you ever watched this channel? Of course we need more Optimus Primes. Each Optimus I get reignites my inner child and reminds me why this character is so important to me. In this strange and confusing godless time we live in, we need to keep our heroes alive. Characters like Optimus are our modern paragons of virtue. It is from these heroes that we learn our morals and values. Religion is no longer relevant in our age, and our leaders are corrupt and inept. We must have hope. We must have those we aspire to, even if they are fictional. God is dead, and Optimus is my Ubermensch. Not you though, Bayverse Optimus. You can fuck right off.
Give me your faith.
Anyway, you guys have a great night. Catch you later.
Like, subscribe, and tell you that. Like, subscribe, and tell you that. Like, subscribe, and tell you that.
Smell your da.